What's up, savvy expats? With inflation rates in America reaching 30-year highs, everyday Americans are getting squeezed by ludicrous prices.
A quarter, 15 minutes?
Rewind!
Over the past year, prices have skyrocketed by over 6.2%, making it the largest increase in inflation since November 1990. Beef prices are up 20%. Prices of pork are up 14%. Gas prices are up nearly 50%, reaching almost $6 a gallon in some areas of the US. And even some of you guys mentioned that a Hershey's bar costs $1.50 now.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
And what are all these preposterous prices attributed to? Supply chain issues. So they say. And lastly, not to mention, savings account interest in 1990 would earn you 8% APY. Nowadays, hardly even 1%. But all of that to say that if you want your money to last the rest of your retirement, there's no better time to leave the US than now. Because, well, at this point, only God knows how far you can stretch your dollar before prices continue to surge and your retirement comes to an end. And that is why in today's video, we're covering a place where you can have the long, peaceful retirement that you dreamed of. And that is the Philippines, more specifically Baguio. Alright, enough talk, let's get into whether or not you should retire in Baguio. First up, let's talk about location. Baguio is a landlocked mountain town located in northern Luzon. Being that it's situated in the province of Benguet, Baguio is approximately 250 kilometers or 155 miles north of Manila, making it a 4-hour drive to get to Manila. So as far as accessibility, to get to the city life, you're still quite far from the hustle and bustle while still being a road trip's distance away from things like airports, hospitals, Western medicine, and Western establishments. And with this, you get the best of both worlds because it's not like you have to take a plane to access these modern conveniences. Yet as a retiree, you're still in somewhat a peaceful location as compared to Manila. And this is what makes Baguio a better alternative than Tagaytay. First of all, they're both cooler climates, but the problem with Tagaytay is two things. Number one, traffic, and number two, to all lakes active volcano. With Tagaytay rapidly becoming more urbanized and overpopulated, it's beginning to lose its small town charm. But that's where Baguio comes in. It's not as overpopulated, traffic is not nearly as bad as Tagaytay. It's still in a cool climate, you don't get as much people coming in from Manila to visit, and it still obtains that small town charm that Tagaytay is beginning to lose. But although traffic and tourism is not as bad in Baguio as it is in Tagaytay, I've read from locals that it isn't getting any better either. Locals have said that it's not the same as it was when they were growing up. There's more traffic than there was before, and same with tourism, especially during the holidays. But savvy expats, I want you guys to keep in mind that although these guys are saying these things, that is the case in pretty much everywhere in the Philippines. Whether it be Dumaguete, Cebu City, Iloilo, all these places are growing nevertheless. So it's not like you can run away from these cons unless you're willing to move to Mindanao and deal with terrorism and radicals. So what I'm trying to say is that with all good things, there's at least one caveat. But not to mention, Baguio is neither too big or too small of a town. The land area of Baguio is approximately 57 kilometers or 14 acres, so you can still live the small town life. And if that's the kind of life that you want to live, Baguio is a considerable place to retire.
But my life is good. Really good.
Now, let's get into what you really want to know as a retiree, the cost of living. So as far as accommodation, we're going to break this up into two categories. First, cost of living in a studio apartment, and second, cost of living in a 3-4 bedroom house. So starting with the first, rental costs in a studio apartment would range from around 15,000 pesos or 20,000 pesos per month, or in dollars, $300 to $400 per month. Now let me make this clear, these are rental costs in a quality apartment that's in a good, safe location. Let me tell you, there's so many YouTubers and blogs that will tell you expats that you can get a quality apartment for less than 10,000 pesos or $200 per month. Well, guess what? I wanted to see if that's true, so I personally did that online research for you, looking to the ends of the earth to find a quality accommodation in Baguio for less than $200. And well, after an hour of searching, I did find accommodations for less than $200 per month, but they were extremely outdated, looked like the place was gonna fall apart, and in a sketchy area. And speaking from experience, I won't compromise quality just to lie to you guys and see that you can get a quality accommodation for less than $200 per month. I mean, I was hoping that I could find a price like that, but I couldn't. So at least from what I researched, $300 to $400 rentals per month are the average price for studio apartments. You can find cheaper, but again, it's likely that you're not going to want to spend the rest of your retirement in such a place. As a matter of fact, let me give you guys an example of a decent studio unit in the heart of Baguio City. So this studio unit located at Cedar Peak Residences is going for 20,000 pesos or $400 per month. And for that, you're getting 27 square meters of space or 290 square feet of space. Getting into the pictures, this is what your unit looks like facing the entryway from the living room. As you can see, right upon entry, you have your kitchen, which stepping closer already has a fridge, microwave, stovetop, sink, and cabinet space. And moving further down the unit, here's your bed. And switching angles, to the left of your bed, you have a desk and dresser. Here's a better angle of the dresser and the entire back of the unit. Across from the bed, you have your TV. And lastly, in the bathroom, you have a shower, sink, and toilet. So yes, that is a small studio unit, but it's in the heart of Baguio Central Business District, where you have great accessibility to all the local attractions. Now, as for rental costs living in a 3-4 bedroom house, that would be around 35,000 pesos or $700 per month. Again, this is as goes for a decent quality house. But if you're willing to compromise quality and size, then no big deal, you can get an even more affordable option. But here's an example of a rental house for 35,000 pesos or $700 per month. So as you can see, the house is up to date and reasonably sized. This is a 4-bed, 3-bath house with parking and CCTV. Here's a look at the parking space, and stepping into the house, here we have your living room, which isn't bad. Switching angles, next to that you have more seating and space in the living room. And as far as your kitchen, it's a decent size, enough to fit all your basic necessities. As you can see from this angle, you have a stovetop, fridge, sink, microwave, and cabinet space. And from this view, you can see the dining table next to the kitchen. Now here you can see you have a staircase leading up to your bedrooms. This is your master bedroom with a good sized bed and balcony. Here's bedroom number 2, here's bedroom number 3, and here's bedroom number 4. Now, moving on to utilities. The electric bill can range anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 pesos per month, or in dollars, 40 to 80 bucks per month. And it's likely that electricity is cheaper because you don't need air conditioning in Baguio. As for water, that is 500 to 1,500 pesos per month, or in dollars, $10 to $30 per month. Internet is 1,500 to 3,000 pesos per month, or $30 to $60 per month. Transportation can be anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 pesos per month, or $40 to $60 per month. Now, as for food and grocery costs, on the high side for two, that can range anywhere from 10 to 20,000 pesos per month. In dollars, that is $200 to $400 per month. But obviously, I mean, if you're eating the same food as the locals, you can save a lot more money. And as far as what is spent on activities like going strawberry picking, visiting Camp John Hay, or doing the hot springs, for a family of 4, that costs 4,000 pesos or $80 per month. So you can imagine that if it's just you and your loved one, that'll be even cheaper. So all in all, if you're renting a 20,000 peso or $400 per month apartment, your cost of living in Baguio would roughly be around 55,000 pesos per month or $1,100 per month. And keep in mind that this is on the high side because I purposely calculated this based on what you'd likely be paying at the most. So you very well could live in Baguio for $800 or even $900 per month if you're willing to make a few changes to your lifestyle. Or even if you find cheaper accommodations than I did, you'll save a lot more money. Now, if you're renting a 3-4 bedroom house, your cost of living in Baguio would roughly be 70,500 pesos per month or $1,400 per month. And again, I calculated this based on a worst case scenario that you're spending a lot per month. Now that we got Baguio's cost of living out of the way, we of course gotta talk about what Baguio is most infamously known for, the climate. Due to Baguio's elevation being 5,200 feet above sea level, Baguio's average temperature is 15 to 23 degrees Celsius. For my Americans, that's 59 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And basically, that's like springtime where I'm from in Illinois, which in my opinion is the perfect weather. It's not too hot where you're sweating buckets, and not too cold where your snot is freezing. And while Manila sweats at 35 degrees Celsius or 95 Fahrenheit, Baguio's temperatures seldom pass 26 degrees Celsius, which is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Talk about great weather. But I must mention that Baguio gets the biggest amount of rainfall in the country, especially during rainy season, which is around June to October. As a matter of fact, Baguio gets twice the amount of rainfall compared to Manila. But on the bright side, pun intended, from November to May, Baguio becomes a paradise getaway from the heat and humidity of Manila. hence why Baguio has been dubbed the summer capital of the Philippines when people need a break from the Philippine heat. In the daytime, you'll probably be able to do with a shirt and pants or even shorts, but during the evening and nighttime, you'll likely need a sweater. And if you're really sensitive to the cold, you might even need some gloves.
I can't feel my fingers anymore. I lied. They're numb.
Maybe you should wear these extra gloves. My hands are starting to get sweaty.
And because of this mountainous climate, Baguio is also home to beautiful plants that wouldn't survive elsewhere in the country. So consequently, Baguio has also been named the City of Pines for, you guessed it, the pine trees. In Baguio, you'll find tall, beautiful pine trees wildly growing everywhere. And not to mention, because of the cool climate, Baguio is also the strawberry capital of the Philippines. Yep, Baguio has a lot of names. So you can enjoy freshly picked strawberries at one of the many strawberry picking farms in Baguio. Which leads us to our next point, attractions and things to do. Of course, the weather in the north is perfect for strawberries, so you can't go to Baguio without experiencing picking fresh strawberries. A popular spot to pick red, plump strawberries is at Strawberry Farms in La Trinidad. La Trinidad, which is the capital of Benguet, is 30 minutes from Baguio town. This municipality is where you'll find hectares of land purely dedicated to growing strawberries to supply the rest of the country. And this activity of strawberry picking is open from November to May every year. And as far as price, it costs 300 pesos or $6 per kilo of strawberries that you pick. And aside from strawberries, you can also purchase fresh flowers, vegetables, and even strawberry flavored ice cream and taho. And some other strawberry picking options aside from Strawberry Farm in La Trinidad is Mackey's Strawberry Garden, Strawberry Fields, and Benguet State University Strawberry Farm. Now, as for free attractions in Baguio, you can take a stroll through Burnham Park. Burnham Park is an open green park in the heart of Baguio with lush greenery. It's also located along Harrison Road and boasts several activities such as a children's playground, rose garden, an orchidarium, picnic grove, Igorot garden, and much more. Aside from those attractions, Burnham Park is also known for its centuries-old artificial lake at its center. And if you're with your significant other, you can go boating on the Burnham Lagoon for only 60 pesos. And even better, if you want someone to pedal for you, that's only an extra 25 pesos. Another site you can visit is Camp John Hayes. Camp John Hayes was a former retreat and recreation center for American military soldiers. Now, it's an expansive recreational complex that offers tourists tons of activities. For example, Treetop Adventure, where you can do a Superman zipline ride for 300 pesos, a canopy zipline ride for 250 pesos, skywalk and trekking for 150 pesos, and a harness tree fall for 150 pesos. Or if you aren't looking for an adrenaline pumping activity, you can do the 1.5 kilometer Yellowstone Trail hike, which only takes about 2 hours. There's also a butterfly sanctuary, you also have the Bell House Colonial Museum, and lastly a world-class golf course designed by Jack Nicklaus himself. Now, as for a free attraction in Baguio, you can head over to Mines View Park. Baguio was a former mining town in the early 20th century, so you can go there to get a glimpse of the past. And this park sits on the ridge of the northeast side of Baguio. The main attraction is the viewing deck that offers a stunning view of the Cordillera Mountains and Benguet's old copper and gold mines. Now, if you're an art aficionado, a place to be sure to drop by is the Bencab Museum. Bencab Museum is home to the permanent collection of Philippine national artist Benedicto Cabrera. It also serves for a venue for art shows and exhibitions. Now, for those of you that want to put your haggling skills to the test, go bargain hunting at Baguio Night Market. From 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., a part of Harrison Road opens up near Burnham Park and it turns into a flea market. So if you're looking for cheap secondhand deals, then Baguio Night Market is a place. Yet another place that you can check out in Baguio is the Mansion. The Mansion used to serve as the official summer residence for US generals during the American occupation. Although the main gate is open to the public, visitors are only allowed in the Mansion House Museum, where tourists can check out presidential memorabilia. And the Mansion's elegant main building is inspired by Spanish colonial design, making it a great place to take pictures. And there are plenty, and I mean plenty more, of attractions that we haven't covered in Baguio, but I'll leave you with one more. And that is the Baguio Botanical Garden. This botanical garden is a tranquil space with lush greenery to walk around and chill. Exploring the garden is an adventure in itself, as you have many attractions within it. First off, entering the garden, you have a bronze masterpiece made by Ben Villanueva. The statue represents caladerans, Americans, Japanese, and Chinese in building Baguio. And with an abundance of pine trees and plants, Baguio Botanical Garden is a great place to unwind and relax. Now, moving on to Baguio's demographic, as of 2015, Baguio had a population of 345,000 people, and the predominant dialect is Ilocano, but the national language Tagalog is still spoken. And as for you expats, English is also spoken as well. And as far as the people, many visitors have said that the people are kind and hospitable as what you'll find everywhere in the Philippines. And in regards to crime rate, Baguio was declared to be the 6th safest city in Southeast Asia by Numbeo. 6th safest city in Southeast Asia. Say that 10 times fast. But anyways, as of right now, Baguio remains to have one of the lowest crime rates in all of the Philippines. And of course, it still goes without saying, you should still be wary about your surroundings. Now, moving on to the topic of healthcare. Baguio is now gaining prominence as a regional center for health services in the Cordilleras. Being that Baguio General Hospital and Medical Center is the only tertiary health facility in the area, Baguio is well capable of delivering satisfactory health services. So in terms of healthcare, you have access to modern specialized facilities and services. So we said many phenomenal things about Baguio, but there's always two sides to the coin. Now let's talk about some of the cons of living in Baguio. The first con is that Baguio is climbing in population. Baguio City can accommodate 30,000 inhabitants, but during the daytime, the population reaches to 400,000 people, which as you can imagine is bad, especially during the holidays. The second con is water shortage. As the population grows and underground water resources dwindle, water shortage is increasingly becoming a problem in Baguio. The third con is environmental degradation. Due to overpopulation and no long-term plan on a waste disposal system, waste management is an imminent problem in Baguio. The fourth problem is landslides. Because it rains cats and dogs in Baguio, landslides often occur. This causes closed access to roads, but they do clear up quickly afterwards. So now, there you have the pros and cons of living in Baguio. Now, it's up to you to assess whether or not living in Baguio meets your criteria as a potential place to retire. So there you have it, savvy expats. That is an in-depth review on Baguio, all in one video. I hope that this video provided value to you, and if it did, please show your appreciation by hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see an in-depth review next of retiring in Iloilo for your expats, let's get this video to 1,000 likes. So thank you savvy expats for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.